Hi everyone, welcome to your pick a card reading. Today we're going to be doing a reading that's going to be diving into what your karma is. Now, I would like to give you a brief little explanation of what I mean by karma, as I know different people have different explanations for karma. So this reading is going to be looking at the patterns that we have acquired within this lifetime and past lifetimes that might be holding us back in some way. So karma tends to present itself as patterns of behavior, which can be good patterns or, detrimental patterns. And so what we're going to be looking at here is what is the patterns and situations that might be presenting himself through relationships or situations in life or in the world that might be holding back your abundance, might be holding you back from your goals and what you want to achieve in this life and in this world. So we're going to be reading that, and we're going to be reading how it connects a little bit to your past life and how it's mostly been presented in this lifetime, and what Spirit wants you to know about your karma and how you can heal it. So with all that said, if you're new to pick a card readings, what I'm going to have you do is meditate on each one of these piles. This is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, and this is pile number 3. Here's your crystal for pile number 1. We have a fire crystal. I actually don't know the names of all of these crystals, like this one in particular, but it's very pretty. So I'll have you take a look at each one of the crystals, and then I'll have your timestamps below for you to go ahead and pick out which one is calling to you the most. And if you feel drawn to more than one pile, go ahead and watch more than one. You might be called to all 3 because there might be messages for you in each one of those that might give you a good full picture of what your karma is and how to heal it. So pile number 1, again, we have the authentic truth. For pile number 2, we have the inward revolution, and pile number 3, we have remembrance. I'll give you a second to meditate upon the cards, and then I will see you in your reading. See you there, guys. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose pile number 1 with this pink fire crystal, then this is your reading. We're going to be talking about what is your karma, and we're going to be talking about past lifetime karma as well as this lifetime karma, the karma that you've accumulated. And this is more so, I would say, talking about the karma of this lifetime rather than the karma you brought with you from prior lifetimes, but it's all interconnected. So pile number 1, the cards that I pulled for you, we have the 6 of Pentacles, we have the 2 of Wands that says decisions, we have the habit with dependency, and we have the Page of Wands with venture. And right away I'm getting pile number 1. Sorry, I don't mean to keep bumping the camera. Just readjust it there. Okay. Right away, what I get for you, pile number 1, is that your karma is, I want you to think of karma as a cycle of patterns in behavior that we have acquired from other lifetimes and that we repeat in this lifetime. And I see for you, pile number 1, that you have a habit of really being somebody that takes care of other people and looks after other people. I feel like you're the type of person that really takes others under their wing, and whether you identify as masculine or feminine, you are definitely somebody with a very nurturing, kind heart. You like to take care of others. You feel responsible for others. And I see that you might be the type of person that, you know, what's really standing out to me with each one of these cards, it's like they each have, except for the last one, they each have a little animal that's attached to them. With the first one with the little baby dragon, and this one with the hummingbird, and then this one with the cat. And what Spirit is giving me is this is kind of a representation of the karma in your life. In past lifetimes, they're saying a lot of your karma has to do with relationships. And what they're giving me is that you always take other people's, they're telling me, you take on other people's pain, you take on other people's burdens, and you shelter them like and coddle them as if it is your own. You really care deeply for others and you look after others, and that a lot of people are very drawn to you, whether you see this in yourself or not, that a lot of people are very drawn to you due to the generosity of your spirit. But Spirit is saying that not everybody has really reciprocated that to you in the past. That you've had many lifetimes of being there for others and kind of putting yourself to the side, putting what you desire to the side, putting what your emotional needs and your, sometimes they're saying even physical needs, that you put that to the side in order to take care of others, in order to provide for others. And they're really giving me that there's kind of this duality with the Two of Wands within you, between like this providing energy and this nurturing energy. And it's like you've been in a role of having to do both, and having to do both for others, and that you've had a lot of people rely upon you. They're saying whether it's emotionally rely upon you or rely upon you for physical needs, that you see you have such a really, really big heart, and you care about others, and you have no desire to let anybody suffer. And so a lot of people who are down and out on their luck tend to come to you for help. But the problem is that this open heart, this open energy that you have also has attracted, I would say, kind of like wolves in sheep's clothing. That they were people who seemed to be, seemed to be like passive, and more so than just passive. It's like, Spirit's giving me this image of like an abandoned animal that you've taken in under your wing, as a metaphor for maybe some people, and they're really saying relationships, and this could very well be love relationships in your life, that you have taken on people trying to help them, and these are people that you'd say had hard knocks in life, were down on their luck, and that it was kind of similar to taking on an abandoned animal, that you took on their pain. But the problem was, you also absorbed some of their karma, like as though it was your own. And that the hardships and the lessons that they were going through, that they took a lot of that trauma from their life and possibly past lifetimes that they had accumulated, they took it out on you. And that trauma left you scarred, left you bruised, and made you think that that was your karma, that that was your hardship, that that was your cross to bear, for lack of a better term. And Spirit is saying that that has robbed you, that you've had, that it didn't come in because you had bad karma. It came in because your heart chakra was too open, and you didn't create enough of a barrier, enough of a barricade to protect yourself. You were trying to protect others. You were trying to help others and shelter them from the world, but you didn't shelter yourself first. You didn't shelter your heart first. You had that heart chakra wide open, and that attracted a lot of people and situations to you, but there was no filter, because you didn't know at the time how many dark energies there are in the world, because that just isn't really part of the way you function. and your consciousness tends to function a little bit differently, because you don't tend to like to see the darkness in the world or the darkness in people, and you always believe in the best in others. You might have like Venus or Jupiter in Pisces, I'm seeing, possibly Sagittarius, because it's like the belief in love and the belief in people and the belief in humanity is very strong in you. And it's like because of that, you'll take on other people's hardships and other people's trauma. But in return, you've had situations where people traumatize you, where people take advantage of you. And this has kind of left you, they're giving me this image of like this card in the middle here, of kind of being, they're saying being addicted to a bad relationship, that you could feel kind of addicted to a person or addicted to a bad relationship or addicted to bad situations, that it's created kind of this dependency on something that you know is wrong for you. And they're giving me that it comes from a place, it comes from a good place in your heart, that place of wanting to take care of others. But the fact that you haven't guarded yourself, it has made it so that you haven't been fully able to blossom and to flourish, and it's held you back. It's made it so that you haven't been able to blossom into the person that you want to be. And they're really giving me the flower analogy due to this card right here, the one that, the Page of Wands, which is venture. And that's what the Page of Wands tends to represent. It is the fruition of a new idea. It is taking the adventure of life. And they're saying that these toxic relationships, these, and they're saying codependent relationships. And by codependency, they mean, they're saying it could be that you rely on them, but it could also be that they rely on you, and that it's not in a reciprocal way that they're relying on you. It's not in a, you know, I give, you give 50-50 type of relationship. It's not in a reciprocal way. It's in a way that these people, you're giving and giving, and these people just keep taking and taking, and it's leaving you scarred. It's kind of broken your heart, and it's tainted your worldview and made it so that you think that everybody is like this, I want to say, feral cat. That they're giving me this image of the people in your life, these relationships of these people that you took in, people that had heavier, darker karma, because you wanted to heal them, you wanted to help them, but they were like feral cats out in the cold. And you fed them and you loved them and you took care of them, and you thought that your heart could heal their feral ways. But in return, yes, the relationship blossomed and they became attached to you, but they took out all their trauma on you and left you traumatized now as well. And that has kind of thwarted, I wouldn't say thwarted, because Spirit is saying it's not over and it hasn't taken you off course or anything. You're learning the lessons you're meant to learn in this lifetime, they're saying. But that it has it has stopped you from your full blossoming of the person that you are meant to be. And that person you're meant to be, that you're meant to be a person that grows, adapts, isn't afraid, isn't timid to venture out onto their own, that isn't afraid to take the journey of life, that all of that belief that you have in you has kind of been used against you, that you were kind of born with this abundant faith in life and abundant faith in humanity. And that due to the darkness in others' hearts, and you not knowing or believing in the darkness in other people, it led you to not protect yourself. And because of that, it has kind of led to this energy vampirism, that people are just kind of sucking you dry. And but Spirit is saying that the karma that you're stepping into now has to do with your taking that, with you're aware of it now. You're seeing these things now. The Page of Wands illuminates things. So now you're stepping into the light. Now you're stepping into who it is you're meant to be. And that faith that you have, that you were born with in humanity, in life, in what is possible in the world, that is being restored, because you're about to take the adventure of life, is what they're saying. You're not going to be held back by feral relationships. So let's get some more cards, pile number 1, and let's see what is, what is pile number 1? What is pile number 1's karma? Let's see if we can get a few more cards to give you a little bit more information and possibly what we can do to heal this karma for you. And one more. Okay. Can't get the cards apart. There we go. All right, we have authentic truth, number 4, which tends to vibrate with Uranus, and we have soul journey. Wow. And we had one more card come out. But I think I'm just going to take these 2. Okay. Pile number 1. We have authentic truth with number 4, and we have soul journey, which is exactly what we were talking about. With authentic truth, they're saying that you kept undermining yourself and your needs and not living in what was true to you. They're saying even standing in indecision and not even like asserting what you like and what you don't like, what you want and what you don't want in life. That you let other people kind of walk on you. And they're saying that you are here to, with the number 4 attached to this, which is, if you know much about numerology, the system that I use says that 4 vibrates with Uranus, which represents a breakdown and a breakthrough. So that all these relationships that you might have had relationship issues or difficulties throughout your life, and that was the breaking down of those old karmic patterns, that it had to come up in you and then it had to break down so you could break through. So that you could break through into this higher ground. And this is all part of your soul's journey in this lifetime. The soul journey is what you are about to embark upon. That's what you're currently embarking upon. But Spirit is saying that you are about to go to much higher ground, because you have now realized and recognized these toxic patterns in other people. So you're going to be climbing to the next level, to the next space in your life, in your progression, and in what you're capable of becoming. And that this has kind of opened like a portal within your consciousness, within your awareness, that wasn't there before, because breaking away from the energy of all these people that was binding onto you, that was holding you back, that was making you feel bad about yourself, that was leaving you kind of bruised and battered, and left you with a lot of war wounds from this life, and woke up a lot of wounds from past lives. They're saying that this was the breakdown that you were meant to have in this lifetime, because you were breaking the chains of all of these karmic relationships and all of these energies and people that had latched onto you and wanted to latch onto you to hold you back from what you're capable of being. But now those chains are broken. So now you're about to take the real journey, the real adventure of your life. That I'm hearing you're even going to start to connect with real soul family now. Whereas before, you couldn't have done that because you had all of these karmic bindings, but that you have really broken through those chains. The Spirit is also saying you need to, I'm just shuffling for your next card. Spirit is saying that you also really need to be aware and not forget the darkness that exists in other people's hearts. Don't forget the lessons that you've learned through the hardships that you've gone through with others, because then you'll just be stuck back in these old karmic loops, these old karmic patterns. They're saying to forgive, but do not forget. And what they mean by forgive is let yourself heal. They're saying that not forgiving is continuing to pick at the scabs and the wounds and the hurts and to rehash it over and over again in your mind. They're saying forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. What they choose to do with their karma and their destiny, that's their choice. But forgiveness happens for you, for your soul, for your sake. But don't forget, because then you're going to be stuck in that same karmic loop, that same karmic pattern, and it won't heal. And you won't be able to get on this path of that soul journey. So let's get your final card. Pile number 1. Final card for pile number 1. Final card for pile number 1. Whoops. Let's do this real quick. All right, and I feel almost like you have one more. I was only going to pull one card, but I feel like there's one more for you, pile number 1. So let's see. Oops. There it is. Let's see what it is. Okay. We have, says, the Empress and the Two of Acorns, insight, focus, beauty, and abundance. I really love those two together. So with both of these, it just reminds me of being liberated. These are both free, fast-moving animals. And I think why they wanted the extra card for you, pile number 1, is because, I don't know if that's supposed to be a hawk or an eagle, but they're really giving me this, like, this hawk eye, this, like, this eagle insight, this eagle eye, that you should always keep your eye out now on all of the, I'll just say what I'm hearing in my head, on all of the predators, all the dangers in the world, that you should no longer close your eyes and have a blind eye towards the things that might hurt you. Keep your eyes open for yourself and for others, because Spirit is giving me that you might have felt like you were in this non-abundant energy, in this like opposite, almost like an Empress reversed energy, even though this came up outright, but they're just giving me this analogy that you might have been feeling like you had this karma of a lifetime of not having the fruition of your dreams. And maybe you felt like you had bad luck or bad karma, but Spirit is saying, no, you attached yourself to karma that wasn't yours. And that led to a lack, of abundance, that you are here to be the Empress. And the Empress is incredibly fruitful, incredibly abundant. It is the fruition of everything you want. And they're just saying the only thing that can stop you from becoming the Empress is if you close your eyes to what's going on below you. And they're saying below you because it's energies that lurk below you that are lower frequencies and lower vibrations that you just don't understand because you don't vibe on that energy. And Spirit is saying, watch them, keep your eyes open, watch them like a hawk, and keep your eyes open and be aware of the dangers in this world, but be like the rabbit that is faster and smarter and can outrun any problem. That's what you're here to do, is to be fast, to be quick, to be sly, to outmaneuver, but to still stand in your power and your abundance. So pile number 1, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed reading for you. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like, as that helps my channel to grow. And please don't forget to comment below, because I love to hear from you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, as that helps my channel to grow. And with all that said, I hope you have an amazing, beautiful, and blessed day in life, and let me know what you would like to see next from me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys. Hi, pile number 2. If you chose pile number 2 with this crystal, I actually don't know what kind of crystal this is. I'm not sure, but it's certainly beautiful. So if you chose this pretty white crystal with the green laced through it, if you know what kind of crystal this is, comment below, because I would love to know. I just think it's very pretty. Then this is your reading, pile number 2. So right out the gate, I've already shuffled some of your cards. I'm going to be doing more live shuffling today because I just kind of felt like it. We have the Queen of Pentacles with ambition, for your karma. We have 8 of Swords with imprisonment. We have the King of Pentacles with loyalty, and the 5 of Swords with defeat. All right, pile number 2. When I talk about karma, if you didn't hear me say this in the intro, I'm just going to repeat it a little bit so you understand what I mean. What I'm talking about with karma is the patterns that we have acquired in this lifetime and within prior lifetimes. It's behavioral patterns that kind of put us in this loop, like a karmic wheel, that we just keep repeating and repeating, and thoughts and beliefs that we have about ourselves or situations, and it's what holds us back in this life. And so this is going to be giving us insight into how to break that karmic wheel and kind of understanding what your karma is. We can have good karma or say bad karma. So either way, it doesn't mean you're a good or bad person. It just means that that you have some healing to do within yourself. So with all that said, let's talk about your reading, pile number 2. What I'm getting here with your karma from prior lifetimes, I'm just seeing you as a very powerful person, that you are a very ambitious and have been a very ambitious person, a very ambitious soul, and that this is something that has been kind of like, I want to say like restricted from you in this lifetime. It's like you are like this very independent, strong, they're just giving me this boss energy. You could be a Capricorn. I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is ruled by Capricorn. You could be a Taurus, because the King of Pentacles is ruled by Taurus. There's very strong earth energy. But from reading your energy, rather than just the cards, you might have earth in your chart, but I don't know if you are an earth sign. I feel like you got a lot of fire in you as well. It's like this fire and earth combination that is really, really coming through. And if you don't have any of that energy in your chart, that doesn't mean this reading isn't for you. It's just kind of what Spirit is giving me as a representation of who you are. And they're telling me that you are a person with a very strong determination, and that determination has been used against you at times. That you have the ability to endure things that other people could not even fathom enduring. And that it's almost like your strength has become a weapon that has been used against you to put you into this kind of cage, is what they're saying. And that this has happened many lifetimes, that you are a person that can make anything happen. You have a natural boss energy. And what they mean by boss is that you're somebody that when you want something done, you can make it happen. And that it doesn't matter how steep the mountain is, you're gonna climb it. Spirit has given me that song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. I think that Spirit says that when it comes to your goals and your ambition and what you want to achieve in this world, it's like nothing can stop you except for you. You are incredibly ambitious. And what Spirit is giving me is that your karma is actually a story of betrayal. That this is something that, and I know maybe that seems like it just came out of nowhere because you're like this very strong, ambitious, go-getter spirit. that wants to go after, that wants to take charge and take the lead in life and in the world. And you are strong and you don't back down, and you know what you want and you know how things work, and you're like able to devise a plan to make things happen. But what I'm hearing is the story of the karma that holds you back is the story of betrayal that led you to betray yourself, to betray your own power. And that it's like you've been put in situations where you've had your own power and your own strength used against you, your own grim determination to bear out hardship and to get through difficult times used against you. Now, what that means is your ability to tolerate uncomfortable situations, your ability to be patient, your ability to withstand difficult things in your life has been used against you, because you've been kind of put in like this little bubble. And Spirit is saying me that it has held back your ambition. It has held back, that it's almost like you were made to feel ashamed of your more ambitious and more, I'm hearing, untamed nature. The part of you that is, I just want to say, a go-getter. The part of you that is fiery and dynamic and just isn't tamed, isn't willing to take anyone else's BS. But I feel like you've been conditioned to think that in order to get ahead in this world, that something has happened, and I believe that it has more to do with like outer world circumstances. The more you've seen the way this world and everything functions, the more you've kind of been put in this box and in this kind of like glass shell, this that you've wanted to kind of shield yourself. That you've wanted to shield yourself, that you've wanted to protect yourself from the world while still observing it. And I'm hearing that it's almost like other people put you into the shell that has held back your manifestation, that has held back your power, that has held back your capacity to see how much you can change and how much you are capable of changing in this world. It has held you back from seeing how amazing you are, what kind of impact you have in the world. And it's kind of put you in this energy of, excuse my squeaky chair, it squeaks a lot. It's put you in this energy of defeat, because nobody could defeat you, pile number 2. That there had to be kind of like this snare put on your mind, that made you choose to be in a defeated energy. And I really like this card a lot. If I remember correctly, in the book for, this picture in particular is based off of Alice in Wonderland, but if in the book of this deck, it's called the Beautiful Creatures deck, and I don't usually read tarot deck books, because I like to give my own interpretation to the cards and see what Spirit tells me. But this is the one deck that I really love the book too, because of the metaphors and the symbolism with it. And with this card, with the 5 of Swords representing defeat, this message behind this card in particular is about betrayal, is about having to fake it amongst all your enemies. And it's about being a powerful person who is forced into a position of just having to suck it up and fake it for their enemies, and to spread their lies of the way the world should function and the way things should be. And that's where the defeatism comes in, that she's painting the roses red, that she is spreading the lies of, like on Alice in Wonderland, spreading the lies of the way the world functions. It's a metaphor for, it's the queen that wants to have everybody paint the roses red, even though they're not actually red roses. And the point isn't that it's not the real color. It's whatever, it's forcing things to look a certain way when that's not their natural state. And I feel like that's a great metaphor for for your karma, that you've been put into a lot of positions where you haven't been allowed to use your power, and you had to cover up your natural state, your natural energy, and almost been made to feel ashamed of yourself and made to feel ashamed of your own power, because of these petty enemies that lurk in the darkness, that are much weaker than you, but yet they rule. I'm hearing they hold all the keys, and they rule the kingdom. And so I'm hearing that it's kind of put you in this weak, defeated state of mind, yet that's not true to your energy. That's not true to your like your karma. So it's made you think like, oh, that things are impossible, or oh, that you're weak, or that you're all these lies that people have told to you about yourself, that you believed them, even though in your heart of hearts you know it's not true. But it's the only way they could get at you is through your mind. They've put all of these locks and chains on your mind. And the Eight of Swords in the traditional tarot is represented by a person surrounded by 8 swords and has a blindfold on. And it represents Jupiter and Gemini, which the whole point behind the Eight of Swords tarot is that the things that are binding us are just shadows in our mind. And if we let go of the controls in our mind that are holding us back, then we can see that we actually are free, that it's just the only limitations you have are that which exist within your own mind. So I feel like your karma has a lot to do with breaking the shackles that were put on your mind by other people. And they're saying to stop painting those roses red, that is like ruining this ambitious part of you. You need to show the roses for what they really are. You need to show the world for what it really is, because you've never been able to believe their lies. You've just had to pretend to be blind. But I'm hearing that you didn't come here, that in past lifetimes this was done to you before. And I hear that you were probably taken out of this world due to standing in your truth. And so it's created, it's created this disharmony within your soul, because I'm hearing it wasn't really the being taken out, from your past life, from standing up for your conviction. It was the imprisonment, that you were really punished greatly and severely for standing up for truth, for standing up for what you know is right. And it's kind of created not a weakness in your soul, but like a protectiveness, that you don't want to go through that again. And you feel like somewhere in your subconscious mind that they're always going to win. That the powers that be in this life or in the world are always going to win. And I'm hearing that that's really what you're here to heal, is to realize that you can triumph, that you don't have to go out of this world this time defeated. Let's pull some more cards. Let's see what else we can get for you. Pile number 2. Pile number 2. I get 2 cards for pile number 2. Here's one. We have You Are the Universe. That's a really beautiful card. Pile number 1. And I get another card for pile number 1. Spirit is saying, while I shuffle, that the goal is to, that the goal for you should be to stop betraying yourself. That they have conditioned you to be an enemy to yourself. And the goal here is to stop betraying yourself, and then you're going to become unstoppable. Just need one more card here for pile number 2. Yeah. It's kind of hard to shuffle with the gloves. Let's see, this one's sticking out. Yeah, inner voice. I'm just going to set that there. Okay, so with these cards, I feel like the message is very straightforward with this. We have You Are the Universe. We have Inner Revolution, and I love that card. And we have Inner Voice. So 2 things talking about inner, and another one with You Are the Universe. This is really about learning to love yourself, like I was saying, to stop betraying yourself. And when I say love yourself, they're saying that's more than just saying like, oh, you know, feel good about yourself. It's having a better relationship with yourself by not betraying the values and not betraying the world the way you believe it should function. That you kind of have within your own heart and your own soul this image of the way the world could be, the way the world should be, the way people should be, the way I'm hearing systems and people and ideologies, how things should work, how things should function. And that you've had lifetimes that has been challenged and robbed from you, your vision of the way things could be. And what I'm hearing is that you are in the middle of this inner revolution that is coming from your inner voice. And that inner voice is your higher self. Spirit is saying it is your highest self trying to awaken within you the call of why you came to this earth. And I really feel like that, I don't know why, this is kind of reminding me of like a lock on a door, like a key. And you know, to a revolution translates into a total turnover, as something to flip something over, to flip the power in reverse, kind of a bottom up, top down type of situation is what revolution is. And it's like the turning of a key is what Spirit is giving me, and that you are this lock, and that the key is inside of you. The key to unlock this is your inner voice, yielding to your inner voice, saying that that voice that tells you the truth about who you are and the truth about the reality of this world, that needs to be your number one guide, because you have the keys to the universe locked up inside of you. And the more you yield unto your inner voice and stop painting the roses red, stop believing the lies that they feed you about this world, and listening to your voice, listening to your truth, listening to the truth that comes from seeing with your own eyes, the more this the more everything that you have felt has been locked up inside of you, which they're telling me is the power and the strength and the ability to change things in your own life and in the world, that the more that is going to start to unlock and be unleashed into the world, and you're going to see actual physical changes in the physical world. But it's going to start inner and move to the outer. Okay, let's pull one more card for pile number 2. Pile number 2, can I get one final card for my pile number 2? One more card for pile number 2. Okay. Final one is, we have the 8 of Feathers with a little mouse. It says courage and solutions. And actually, I think that's just perfect. I really think that's just perfect for your reading pile too, because I feel like the answer is courage. I feel like, I know we talked a lot about past lifetimes within this reading, but it's more than that. I feel like this lifetime you might have felt kind of straitjacketed by your life, and you know, kind of locked away, or not fully being able to ever be free, and you've been made to feel small, like this mouse. You've been made to feel like you were, Spirit is saying that you've been treated almost like you were a rodent, like a pest, and that the resourcefulness that was inside of you, just like the little mouse, who is actually a very industrious and very resourceful little creature, has been used against you, and you've been told that you are nothing but a pest. And Spirit is kind of laughing at that and saying, well, they're not entirely wrong. You took it so personally that that they didn't like you, that you were a pest on their minds and on their system and on their way of, trying to be comfortable in living in wrong situations. And Spirit is saying, you're actually born to be a pest because you are supposed to annoy the ones that have put you in kind of that straitjacket situation, because that's how you break free. That's how you break out of things. And that you're supposed to be kind of the pesty one, pointing out all the problems. And because when you point out the problems, you're pointing out the solutions. And on the bottom, it says courage and solutions. And Spirit is saying for you to find that courage in your heart, that's actually going to be the key. And courage comes from the lack of betrayal, from stopping from betraying yourself. That is the main message with your karma. Stop betraying yourself and embrace yourself. And even if you feel small, remember that you're resourceful, and that it doesn't take much to really change your life and change the world. So pile number 2, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like, because that helps my channel to grow. And most importantly, I would love to hear from you below. If you have any questions, any thoughts, whether it connected or it didn't connect, please don't hesitate to comment below, as I love to hear from you. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing, as I would love to have you. And with all that said, I hope you have a beautiful day and a blessed life, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. If you picked pile number 3 with this yellow crystal, then this is your reading. We're going to be talking about what is your karma. And just in case you didn't listen to the intro, just a little quick recap on what I mean by karma. When I talk about karma, I'm talking about patterns that we tend to get stuck in. And sometimes these patterns are carry over from past lives that tend to show up within our childhood or our younger years in our life. And then we start to perpetuate these cycles that get us stuck into situations that are kind of challenging for us to get out of. So we're going to be taking a look at what your karma is, especially how it might have popped up in this lifetime. And let's get on into it, pile number 3. So the cards that came flying out for you is you are 1, authenticity. We have the 1 of Cups, or also known as the Ace of Cups, with it says fondness underneath. It's taking a minute to get back in there. Okay. We have the 10 of Pentacles. We have legacy. And we have the 7, we have the Chariot, which is card number 7, with motion. So pile number 1, it's very interesting. When I was shuffling for you, pile number 1, this card really wanted to come out. And this card really wanted to come out because I feel like it's representative of your life. The Chariot is ruled by Cancer, and it represents emotions. And we have a lot of water energy within this reading, with the Ace of Cups and the Chariot, which represents the moon. And it's ruled by Cancer, so therefore it has moon energy attached to it. And it represents duality, because the moon is actually the fastest changing, well, I want to say planet, but it's not a planet, it's a moon. It's one of the fastest changing energies that influences us. We'll just call it an influencer, because that's what the planets all are. They're influencers, and they influence our lives and the direction of our lives and our personality. And And the moon is one of the fastest moving because it changes every 2 to 3 days to a different sign. And the chariot represents moving quickly, moving fast. And it represents duality. It represents straddling of light and darkness within the world. Now, what's interesting about this chariot card usually has 2 horses up in front, and one light and one dark, representing the duality pulling us forward in life, which represents our emotions. Our emotions are usually the thing that drives us. It's our emotions that rule passion and push us forward in life. And but rather than being pushed forward, pulled forward, I want to say, she has nothing in front of her pushing her forward. She's being pushed from something behind, something nudging her gently from behind, so she doesn't really feel like she's going anywhere. And what's interesting is, if you look in the background of this card, the darkness, that the clouds of darkness and the night that is behind her, and she's trying to move into this lighter day, but she is being kind of nudged gently by a force that's unforeseen to her, pushing her along from behind rather than pulling her forward into the lighter day. And I'm feeling like that Spirit has given me that this is a representation of your karma, that it comes from your past life, that there's a lot of subconscious forces from things that you've gone through in past lives that are kind of working underneath, that are working on your subconscious mind. You might have a 12th house south node. You might also have like Pisces or Cancer as your south node, which represents your lunar eclipse points, which is actually the most important part of the birth chart. And please excuse my squeaky chair. It squeaks a lot, and I have a Gemini moon, so it's hard for me to sit still for any long period of time. So just ignore the squeaking. But what I was going to say, to get back into the channel, is that you have this subconscious force pushing you from a past life, pulling you forward. And I see that you're somebody that, the Spirit is saying that you're an empath, and that you have like this strong connection to Venus, to the moon, to female energy. You have a lot of karma with women, is what I'm hearing, actually. That it really comes through, and it can come through as sisters. It can come through as friendships. It can come through as, I'm hearing, mothers. It can come through as people who play figurative roles, people who play nurturing roles for you. I'm hearing that you have a lot of, I'm hearing, karma with the feminine in this lifetime. And karma, remember, not a good word, not a bad word. It's just a representation of patterns and cycles and things that we need to figure out, lessons we need to learn, and things we need to heal. And for you, pile number 3, I feel like there's a part of you that feels like you have to wear a mask, feels like you have to hide your authentic self, and a part of you that feels almost, I would say, like there's this, like you have a well of emotions inside of you, and you don't know quite, what to do with them. And it's almost like you feel, or maybe this is all subconscious, that your emotions are ruling you rather than you ruling them. And this is that subconscious force pushing you forward, propelling you forward in your life against your will. It's all subconscious, and emotions really are subconscious that come through. It's not like we consciously think to ourselves, oh, I'm going to have an emotion now. They just appear, they just come, and then we have to think for a moment, well, what is it that made me feel this way? Why am I feeling this way? I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. That's all common things to think when we have any kind of feelings. We don't understand our feelings first. We they're subconscious. We feel them, they just pop up. And so I feel like you have a lot of bottled up emotions, a lot of things within your heart chakra that need to be healed, and it comes from a past life. And I feel like, the karma with women, underneath it says legacy. And what I was getting with this when I was kind of trying to pull through the message for your reading, pile number 3, because I like to look at the cards a minute before I start to tell you the messages I'm getting, so I can absorb the energy of it. And what I was getting is the words rivalry, that you had a lot of people who were very jealous, very vindictive, and rivaling, I don't think that's a word, that were competitive, with you, that wanted what you had, that wanted to be on top, that wanted your position of power, that wanted your position of authority, and that this has come through in many lifetimes. That you've had a lot of people that have plagued you with jealousy. And it's more so, you've always thought, I'm hearing, that it's like they were jealous of what you have. You never saw it that they were jealous of what you are and what you were. And it's like all your life that you've been kind of felt like held back and afraid to be your true authentic self, because every time you are, you get knocked down, you get picked on, and you don't quite understand why. It's this subconscious force that's propelling you again and again, of these emotions coming through, kind of nudging you in the direction of the answer, but never fully getting the answer, because you're afraid to stand in your true light, is what I'm hearing, in your true authentic self. And you never quite saw before that it wasn't about what you have. You always thought that it was like, what I'm hearing is that it was that you thought that people wanted what you had, and maybe they did, but that was just the manifestation on the physical plane. What they wanted is what you were. And they're saying that it's the well of knowledge that you have inside of you. Spirit is saying of spiritual knowledge that you have inside of you, that makes it so that these really great things are attracted unto you, that you might have had like really I don't know, Spirit is giving me that you might have been just gifted with these like beautiful things in life. It could be, nice places to live, or beautiful possessions, like say cars or nice clothes, or even if they weren't like expensive things, that you made them look expensive. Yeah, that's really what Spirit is saying. Even if it's like you were like, well, no, I was raised poor, we didn't have much, but yet why is it that people still tried to take from me, is what I'm hearing Spirit giving me an example of something you might say. And Spirit is saying it's because you made these things look rich. You are like the shine, like the glimmer to the gold, is what I'm hearing. That you are the glimmer to the gold, and everybody is attracted by that, but that a lot of people are very jealous of that and have tried your whole life to dethrone you, and that this lifetime is about you coming to love yourself. I feel like this message has been coming through a lot, actually, in the readings today. I just don't feel like self-love is the right word for it, though. It's more than just like loving yourself. It's being authentic to yourself. I think that being given things and having things taken away is what I'm hearing. That you've had like these extreme, sorry, I bumped the camera, I didn't mean to. You've had these moments of extreme light and extreme darkness that you've been given, maybe times that you had a lot of wonderful things and you were like on top of the world, and it was like boom. Then it's like the exact opposite, and it was catastrophe, and it was like storm clouds. And Spirit is giving me this this of like this image of like a tornado, of like a hurricane just coming through and sweeping through your life, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere you rebuild again and you're given this beautiful life. And then it's like, well, it's not a hurricane this time, it's like, I don't know, an earthquake. And it's a brand new disaster that you have to deal with. And they're saying it's because it's all these new and different disasters that you've had to deal with in your life that that you also feel like kind of traumatized and uneasy, because it's like you never feel like you can trust anything, and it's always a new storm. So it's not like you can prepare, because if it was another hurricane, you know, then you would have been prepared for a hurricane, but then it was a different kind of disaster in your life. And these are all metaphors, by the way. You know, I mean, hopefully you haven't gone through any natural disasters like that as well, because that's terrible. But Spirit is saying me that this lifetime is like this straddling of extremes, of this like polarity between light and dark. And that it has to do with your frequency and your vibration. That the Spirit is really giving me a lot of water sign energy here. And they're saying that you incarnated that you're a deep feeling soul, and that you incarnated to learn more about the heart and the way and the extremes of the heart, the extremes of passion, that you wanted to experience it all. And so they've given you the highest highs and then the lowest lows. And if you're feeling like this isn't vibing with you, check out one of the other piles, because I know this is like kind of a very dualistic kind of energy I'm getting here. And what I'm feeling is that you have this duality within your nature, and you've had this duality in your life, and that you're here to heal that karmic push, that subconscious link that is only coming through emotionally within you, that keeps perpetuating these cycles of chaos within your life. And that it's not necessarily you're not the one creating chaos, but it's like Spirit is giving me that you're missing seeing something, because it doesn't exist in the logical realm. It actually exists in the hidden. It's buried in your emotions. It's buried in your subconscious feelings. And they're bringing me back to the karma with women, with the feminine, that you've had, I feel like feminine energy has really been, that they've given you a lot of evil eye, is what I'm hearing. That whether you've realized it or not, and regardless of, you know, you could be a masculine that is watching this, and you might not have been able to ever even see that they were incredibly jealous of you, that people, no matter who they are incredibly jealous of your power. And even if you are feminine, it's like there's this incredible jealousy that's coming through. And what I'm hearing is that has caused you to kind of wear this mask, to be ashamed of your authentic self and your authentic power. Spirit is saying you haven't diminished your power, but you've been like made to feel kind of afraid of it. More so than not afraid of your power, it's like you're afraid of your authentic self, because you're afraid if you stand in your true authentic self, then what you have and what you have grown and what you've created in this life will be taken away from you. And I don't know why it has come through with the feminine mostly, that have had this, oh wait, I think that's why. That the reason that it has come through the feminine mostly is because the feminine is ruled by Venus and ruled by the moon. That's the feminine energy in astrology. And so it's come through maybe people that represent that energy in this lifetime. They could even, be people that just have a lot of Taurus or a lot of Cancer energy in their chart, to help you to see this subconscious wound that you need to heal, because it's the wounding of that has come through that is propelling you into these patterns that are keeping you stuck in this lifetime. That has come through on a subconscious level. It's come through with the moon, it's come through with Venus, it's come through in kind of an underlying way. It hasn't come through in a mercurial way with like a loud message or like a logical or a very logic or reason-based message, which would be like a Mercury message or a Jupiter message. It's hidden, it's underneath, it speaks to you through feelings. And so there's been a lot of situations that have pulled up those feelings to help you to look at that wound that has come, that you came into the world with, that you're supposed to, what Spirit is saying is to look at the wound, because you're supposed to convert the dark into the light. You're not supposed to be straddling these extremes anymore. You're supposed to be able to move into the light. You're supposed to be moving into this feeling of emotional abundance, of emotional joy and satisfaction, where you no longer feel at war with that feminine energy in yourself, which is represented by Venus and the moon, that you are actually feeling true emotional fulfillment and feeling true emotional understanding. Let's get some more cards. Pile number 3. Let's see what more pile number 3 needs to know about healing their past karma. We have whispers and another card for pile number 3. Remembrance. One more card for pile number 3. Yeah, pile number 3. It's this is all a very deep subconscious thing. I really feel like it's almost hidden to you, and the only way to get the answer is to tap in to your emotions. And I think that might be the thing that why it keeps stirring up all this chaos, or possibly a lot of emotional situations that trigger you, is because it's trying to get you to look where you don't want to look, to get you to look at this wound. Yeah, and that's the card that just came out, so that's kind of funny. We have sensitivity. Oh, I really like the way that one looks. That's so pretty. Actually, all your cards are really pretty. So pile number 3. I keep wanting to say 2. Maybe there's some messages in the other piles as well. I wanted to say 1 as well. So if you feel drawn to it, check out the other piles. And that might actually give you some clarity. Because I know this one's a little bit watery. It's a little convoluted. So with whispers, with number 12, 11 with remembrance, and 15 we have sensitivity. All of these are talking about emotions. That I think it's just kind of reiterating what I was saying before. You need to stop denying your emotional self. You need to not be afraid of your emotions. You need to look inwards and following the whisperings of your heart, actually, is what I'm hearing. That it's kind of nudging you towards the subconscious wound that needs to be pulled up, that needs to be healed. That there's something from your past life. I think you would really benefit from doing a past life regression, or having a past life reading. And maybe that'll be one of my next pick of cards that I'll do, talking about your past life karma. Because I really feel like pile number 3, there's something that happened to you in your past life that has caused this deep emotional wound that I see. It's like a wound to your moon in your chart. It's like a Pluto wound, or like I think you might have some aspect being made to your moon in your birth chart that is causing you a lot of like extreme conflict and these moments of extreme highs and extreme lows and a lot of volatility in this lifetime. And I don't believe that it's anything like you're choosing to do, and it's not anything you're choosing to create. It's like extreme situations are attracted to you, and that needs to be healed. And like I said, the reason that it keeps coming up, these extreme situations, is to try and get you to remember what it is that Spirit is saying that you are avoiding, remembering from a past life. And that that when you awaken this within you, this remembrance, this memory, that it's like you're kind of afraid to look at it right now. But when you dive deep into your emotions, that it will start to heal. And to be kind to yourself, to be gentle with yourself. Don't be forceful with yourself. Don't be extreme with yourself. Be balanced with yourself, because just like this rose blossoming, you know, you can't force a plant to grow. You can't overwater it. You can't give it too much sunlight. You know, it has to have the right balance. Otherwise, it won't grow. Or if it does grow, it won't grow healthy. And it's the same thing within your soul, that you need to give yourself the right amount of the right balance between giving yourself strength and love and a little push in a different direction, but also giving yourself the right amount of nurture, as well as the right amount of push forward into where it is you need to be. So it's like this straddling of duality. And learning to strike that balance for your growth and not being too harsh on yourself. Spirit is saying you're way too harsh on yourself. And what you're here to do is to kind of learn. You've learned the extremes. They're saying you have had a lot of extremes in your life. You're here to find the balance in between, to find the calming balance in between, so that you can blossom, so that you can grow, so that your true light can come forth. You know, like we were saying about this card, converting the light and converting the dark into the light. And this rose, it's almost like it's like almost combusting into the light. And that's kind of what I see for you. That as you go inwards and as you heal these subconscious wounds, by not fearing your emotions, but embracing your emotions and realizing that life is both dark and light, but the light will triumph over the darkness, and not to allow the darkness or the sorrow or the heaviness of what you might be going through to think that that's going to be your ruling energy forever, because it's not. You're always going to convert that that darkness back into the light, back into growth. Let's get one more card for you. Pile number 3. One more card. Let's see. We have the 10 of Feathers with recovery and transformation. Yeah, I really feel like, I don't know why I feel like pulling one more card, but I really feel like for you, here we go. That was pretty fast too, actually. Love it when it's fast. Sometimes it takes a long time to get the right card to fly out. We have recovery and transformation and peace and healing. And that was actually right what I was about to say as I was starting to shuffle, is I feel like this lifetime for you is about healing. And, you know, what's coming to me with the star card is with having a swan on it, and with the snake on the 10 of Feathers, the snake representing transformation, and the swan, they're giving me the story of the ugly duckling with the swan, which is all about, you know, the little duckling that was always treated like it was so different and cast off from everybody else. And the duckling thought that there must be something wrong with me because I don't fit in with everybody else. And how, wow, that's actually perfect with what we were saying earlier with all the jealousy and the evil eye people have been giving you your whole life, is that just like the ugly duckling story, the poor little duckling thought there was something wrong with it, and it like felt so terrible about itself. But then it realized it's because it wasn't just like everybody else. It was a swan. It wasn't even it wasn't some average little duck. It was a swan. It was something higher. It was something better. It was its own thing. And that's kind of what you're here to transform in yourself. I think that's the link. That's the subconscious link, is that you've got to learn to see yourself for the swan that you are, for this higher being, for this different, transformed, I would say more powerful, more elegant, more gracious spirit that you are, and not to compare yourself to all of these lower energies, and that you're here to transform that in yourself. You're not supposed to be hanging out with the little ducklings. You got to realize you're a swan, and then you're going to feel like Spirit is saying that you matter. You're going to feel like you matter. You're going to feel like you belong, because you belong with the swans. You do not belong with the ducklings. And it's because you've been trying throughout these lifetimes, they're saying, more than just this lifetime, you've been trying to fit in with those whom you're not supposed to fit in with. And Spirit is saying that you're here to transform, you're here to heal, you're here to recover, and you're here to find peace. And once you find peace in yourself and peace within your own heart, which they're saying comes through the peace of loving yourself and peace of self-contentment, the peace of understanding that you are a swan. They're saying then these extremes, these of high and low, will dissipate in this life, and then that will reflect in your outer life. The peace you feel inside will be reflective into the outer world, is what I'm hearing. So pile number 3, that kind of was longer and went a lot deeper than I was expecting. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please comment below, because I love to hear from you, and I love to hear how it connected and resonated with you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up, as that helps my channel to grow. But with all that said, pile 3, I hope you have a beautiful, amazing, and blessed day in life, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Bye!